All right, welcome back to another video. We got the whole crew with us, as always, in this Oregon trip. Ricky is here, Qasim is here, and Jordan is behind the camera right now for another day of Oregon coastal birding. Yesterday was incredible, so I'm hoping today is just as awesome. We are looking here for seabirds today. Excuse the hair, I took the hat off because I have definitely lost my fair share of hats in windy conditions like this. Because of the wind, it's a little bit hard to film. Things are far out, so I might just enjoy the birds for a bit. I think I'm gonna pull my other lens out and do some landscape photography too. So let's see what we get up to today. So today's Newport adventure of coastal Oregon birding started at Boiler Bay State Wayside. Now the birds were pretty far out. It was super hard to ID them, though I did pick out these common murre. The ones that were closest to us were mostly gulls, so I was trying my hand at gull identification. This juvenile gave me a bit of trouble, but I was able to pick out this California gull as it flew right in front of me. The waves out in the midst of the ocean and the wind were not relenting though, which made for quite difficult birding trying to spot anything. Regardless, I did pick out this pelagic cormorant out in the water. This was a lifer for me yesterday, so it's still equally as cool to continue to see this species while I still can. Thankfully, a couple of nice black oyster catchers came right up almost to the fence where we were taking our photos and videos from and offered us some really close looks. Super cool, a really great coastal bird that I do not get in my home state of Utah. The couple that we see right here was a pair that was following each other around. I do wonder if they were breeding because it was towards the end of April, start of May, which is about the breeding season. One cool thing about oyster catchers is they are monogamous. So if that was a pair, they could have been together for a couple of years. We did get a couple of flybys from some different species that offered some decent looks, but still most of the birds were pretty far out there, making it quite difficult. Even with some tough birding, I did want to take a few landscape photos because the Oregon coast is so beautiful. We made our way to the next location at Devil's Punch Bowl, another iconic Oregon coast location, and saw this really sweet rock formation that there were actually people walking under. Now the rocky shores you see before you here are actually the perfect habitat for this wandering tattler that we picked out. This was an exciting lifer for us in the last video, so cool to get good looks at it again. Although it was from quite far away, we were pretty happy to notch this bird on the list because we weren't seeing a whole lot else that was getting us excited this morning. Having very minimal luck at this place, we did transition to grabbing some lunch at a nearby boardwalk within Newport County. We picked up some Thai food, and this place was very nicely situated and had some great windows that allowed us to look out at the birds out in the bay. We picked up some pigeon guillemot. Now these birds are diving feeders. It's very similar to something you might see like a cormorant, like this cormorant right here. Both species dive beneath the water looking for crabs, mollusks, and other invertebrates to eat. On the flip side, gulls are opportunistic feeders, and these ones were trying to get every piece of food they could from this hard-working seal, who just wanted to be left alone. These gull scavengers even wanted some of our food and were yapping away outside of the window. Now Newport actually has a famous colony of sea lions that just hang out on this one, I guess, just floating raft here. There were so many of them and they were loud, but really funny to watch and listen to them for a little bit. All right, we are at a new location here. Unfortunately, a bit of hiccup in the trip. My camera's shutter has been having issues and it causes my camera to freeze all of a sudden, which is not ideal in the middle of a trip. I've done my best to reset it. I've switched over to electronic shutter for any pictures I take, so I'm hoping it'll last, but we might have to stop at a camera place tomorrow, which is just a big bummer to have to deal with this stuff because you really want to be focusing on just enjoying the birds and having fun photographing and videotaping, but I'm hoping this will hold out and I can show you some of the birds we come across in the new location here. Yeah, I don't know if you could tell by my just general demeanor, but this was really a bummer. No one wants to deal with these issues when you're far from home and you don't have the normal shops you're used to, and you're honestly not sure what you can even do. And The birds were not exactly lifting my spirits. We weren't able to pick out a ton of things. It was really hard to ID with these heat haze, and we weren't seeing as many birds as we were expecting to. There were a couple shorebirds around, but only the closest species that we could get good photos of were these gulls, really. So we rolled the dice and went to yet another location, a jetty that juts out into the ocean. Now, we did see a couple of cool species here right away when we reached the area. We picked up a white-winged scoter lifer. Now that is more like it. It was accompanied by some other species like this surf scoter out in the middle of like the river that meets up with the ocean. We did finally find loons too. This common loon was our first of the day. We were looking for a couple lifers though. We wanted a Pacific or a red-throated loon. These aren't loons, but I will still of course take a lifer. This red-necked grebe, or this pair of red-necked grebe, were really awesome to see. And finally, a bit more luck, we had a couple of red-necked phalarope real close to the shore. It was really funny to watch these birds zipping around and foraging amongst the water. And then, a Pacific loon right in front of us too. So the day was starting to look up a little bit more, which was great. We were still battling some tough wind conditions though. And I had my camera issues happening sporadically on top of this whole outing, which just made things super tough. And while there were a few great birds, and it's always awesome to celebrate 4 lifers, this day was always going to be overshadowed by some of the struggles and issues that were going on. Still, I did my best to manage and handle the circumstances that were dealt to me, and we continued to look for more birds out in the water. We were still hopeful we'd find another loon species, and we scanned the ocean out in front of us. I got excited at first as I thought this was a new one, but it was just a Pacific loon, another common loon, no red-throated loon yet. However, we did get a couple of grebe out in the water, and this was great because this was a lifer for Ricky. Like the rest of the day, it is incredibly windy out here, so I hope you can hear me. We've gotten a couple loons off this jetty, and then we've got some grebes out there too. Lifer Clark's grebe for Ricky, and second time Clark's grebe for Cossum in front of me. But yeah, awesome to see some Pacific and common loons up close. A little bit treacherous to get out here, but I'd say it was worth it for the birds. I just wish this damn wind would stop. To wrap up this rather difficult day of birding in Newport, Oregon, we did get a cool look of an eagle soaring around while a bunch of gulls were taking swipes at it, probably trying to scare it off their territory for fear of being hunted themselves potentially. Well, today was a tough one with the wind and my camera having issues. It seemingly started to work fine towards the end of the day, but I'm still worried about it for the remainder of the trip. So hopefully I can take it into a shop in Portland or something tomorrow to get it checked out. And then the birds were tough to find in this wind. We had some rocky terrain to go over, but sometimes that's birding though. Not every day can be incredible, and you'll have to take these low ones with the high ones as they come. As always, I appreciate you for watching my videos. I'll see you in the next one. Happy birding.